My name's Elaine Rising. I'm Associate Director at the Office of the Chief Information Officer at UNM, and here today to help be an MC for this demo day and award ceremony. And this is Dan Heron from CNM. He's going to help me.
Hey everyone, I'm Dan. I work downtown in beautiful Albuquerque. I work at the local coding boot camp, so if you want to talk about coding, I'd love to talk to you.
Okay, so we'll get started really quick. Here today we also have Garth Colasurdo, our technical specialist doing all the behind the scenes stuff. He also reviewed all the apps for technical soundness. We have Andrea Cisneros Wichman, and she is timing, and we'll go over that. We have, who else do we have? Nobody else in here, and Emily is out in the front. Whoops.
We got Michael
back there, he's helping out. Ola Stromina is here, our student employee, and Alex Rossner, who's helping take pictures and did all the graphics. And I think I got everyone. So thank you all again for coming. We'll talk more when we get to the award ceremony. And our first group is Zachary Clark and Nolan DeGreco. And they're going to talk about LoboSafe, which is a campus safety app with connections to UNM Police Department. Okay, guys.
Come on in.
There's a microphone here, and there's one you can hold if you need to.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everybody. Like she said, my name's Zachary Clark, and this is my cousin.
I'm Nolan DeGreco. We're both students here at UNM.
Sounds good. If you want to start the video. Okay, so our app is LoboSafe, and
in a little bit, like, statistics are going to come up. We made this app to assist the safety beacons here at UNM because obviously they're kind of spread out and sometimes they're a little bit hard to find, so we thought we'd make this app for it.
We're talking about those big blue emergency beacons you press when you have some incident.
So in 2014, 2015, and 2016, they had a total of 38 rape incidents, 32 fondling incidents, 15 robberies, 40 aggravated assaults, and a lot of other stuff. We obviously don't like this, so.
And so this is the problem we're trying to solve. So this is the main user interface of our app. As you can see, we've integrated Google Maps, and the little blue dot there is your location. So it has all of Google Maps' regular functionality. You can see streets, you can get directions, find a building around campus, like we're trying to find Zimmerman here. And so that's just an added feature to this to help you with that.
Yeah.
And then we've also, since we are a safety app, we've integrated a lot of UNM Police Department's features that they have. So up here, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, so we're going to do report a crime. So this will bring you to their main page. This is a very easy to fill out form. It's completely anonymous, and you can report crimes that you see around campus.
The other thing that UNM Police Department offers is they have an Uber-like service. And so if you call this phone number, which happens when you click the button, you can tell them where you are, and they'll transport you to any other location on the UNM campus for free, and that ensures, safety at night if you have a late night class at like 7 o'clock or so.
So the next thing we're going to go over is settings. So right here, you're going to fill out your first name and your student ID number, and then you're going to fill out your emergency contact's name and their phone number. So when we go over to the distress button, it's going to send a text to the emergency contact stating that you hit the distress button, and it'll give your location on Google Maps.
And it actually provides, we'll show in a little bit, provides a link to a Google Maps location, and so they can actually see where your last reported location is. But the main functionality of our app is to act as a distress beacon to report incidences to the UNM Police Department. So you see they press the distress button, prompts you to call 911 for emergency services. But it's also actively tracking your location using the GPS on your phone, and it's sending that to an encrypted server that the UNM Police Department can access, and they can see live tracking of your phone to tell where you are and respond. And then when you stop, UNM Police Department will still respond, but it stops tracking your location for privacy reasons, because you don't want that on all the time.
Yeah. So this is the text that your emergency contact will receive. So as you can see, it's from Zach, and it'll say, like, you listed them as their emergency contact, and it'll give a link to their location on Google Maps.
Yeah, so that'll just open up and you can see in the Google Maps where the last location was. So there were a couple things, we only had a couple months to do our app, so there was a couple improvements that we wanted to make but didn't quite get to. One suggestion was that we should provide a PIN for turning off the tracker. That way, if somebody who was assaulting you got a hand of your phone, they couldn't turn it off without your permission. And in the future, we'd really just like to see this to help spread safety across all college campuses and integrate it with other colleges' police departments for better response times.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah.
Good.
My daughter's 15 and a half. She'll be going to school and to college in a couple of years. Very possible she'll go out of state.
Mhm.
Main list to me is that emergency contact. Do you have or could you incorporate a capability where if I call 911 from here and she's, let's say, in Massachusetts, it's not going to do much good. Can you incorporate something that gets the local emergency system where that location has been set off?
Yeah, so that's a great point. So the functionality, I don't know if you noticed, it didn't automatically call 911, and that's actually a usage issue within the phone because they don't want fake emergency calls.
Right.
So you have to press the button. But the thing that we'd like to expand this to is for all college campuses or all states, and so we would integrate with local police departments.
Where I'm looking though is that I'm in Albuquerque, and if I'm her emergency contact,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to call because she is alerted, but she hasn't necessarily, she's in Massachusetts. I don't know the number to that Massachusetts Police Department.
Yeah.
If you could supply that based on, because it's not gonna be 911, it's gonna be a 10-digit.
Yeah.
To me, that would be a neat addition to it. So the emergency contact can contact services in that area, not in the area the emergency contact currently offers.
That's a great suggestion, something we could definitely do. Do you guys have any other questions?
How much did you talk to the campus police about this and demonstrate and get feedback and tweak your?
Yeah, so, or do you want to take it?
Well, okay, we were pretty interactive with them. They were a little bit like worried about like, or actually, you know what? Do you want to go over it?
Yeah. So a lot of the we talked to them from the beginning of the project because obviously that's who we want to integrate with, and it's very integral that they're a part of it. And a couple of the concerns they had was people with offline capabilities wouldn't be able to, like if your phone didn't have a signal, nobody would get the message. And so they're concerned about you know, safety and responsibility on the police department and the app's part, because it's expected that when you send something that somebody will receive it. And so that's something that definitely, to formalize the app, we would need to go through to make sure that when it's sent, you're definitely receiving it, or the user knows, hey, nobody got this.
Did you guys map out all the blue light locations on campus?
We did not do that, no. But our goal with the app is to replace those, because you can have your phone wherever you are, and the blue emergency beacons are only, you know, a select number of locations. So we really want it to replace that and be, you know, as long as you have a smartphone, it's an easy way for you to get help.
If you are, let's say, a victim that is being attacked, is there any way you can integrate maybe, you know, where current officers may be located? If maybe you have a chance to, you know, get to where an officer is close and ask for help or something like that. Is that something that is integrated or something that you guys are thinking about integrated?
Well, yeah, that's a great suggestion. We don't have, there's no tracking available for police officers like geolocation, but that's definitely something we could talk to them about. And I think that'd be a great resource to, you know where officers are patrolling and stuff like that.
Have you explored possibly connecting this to wearable devices with a similar purpose?
That would be awesome. And we just developed an Android app because that's what we know, but obviously we want this to be on every platform because we want everybody to have the ability to be safe and feel safe on their campus.
So you spoke about the police department being concerned that they may not receive the message. Is it something that you're looking at, maybe installing a client version on the police department server so that as soon as they get it, they respond and you know, the user knows that they did get the message? Is that something?
Yeah, so that's something we'll have to, going forward with our app, we'll have to talk with them about. They were very concerned about liability and having an app associated with them that they might not be able to respond to. But to formalize that, we have it on our own server that they can access, but we would move it to a server that the police department's in control of and they have direct access to, so that they know they're getting that information. Any other questions? Great, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next participant, our next app is UNM Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a walking navigation app of the UNM campus. And to learn a little bit more about that, I don't remember, it doesn't say, where does it say your name at on this? Alan Shin. There you go.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't see it on the paper there.
It's in the blue square.
It's in the blue square. Okay, next.
Hi, so my name is Alan Shen, and my app is called the UNM Pathfinder. So, like you said, this is an app designed to help people find their way around campuses for freshmen or just anyone who's new to the campus in general. So you can search for buildings and tap on buildings and see what they are. And you can also just choose 2 different spots on campus and see what the quickest route between them would be. So you can use other apps like Google Maps, but the problem with those is that they're not super friendly to the campus, because if you're looking at the campus from Google Maps, only the buildings with the largest surface area will show up unless you zoom in really closely. And even then, a lot of the buildings, the color matches the background color, and using the satellite view can kind of be all the colors also blend together there too. So with my app, it's a lot more convenient because it uses the official UNM map. So you can clearly see, what are buildings, where all the walkways are, where there's grass, where the parking structures are. So it's very clear. Now, another important feature of my app is that you can choose 2 different spots on campus, 2 different buildings, and you can see what the optimized route between those buildings are. And so my app uses what's called an A-star search algorithm. And the way that works is it basically takes a starting point, and instead of just flood filling the map to find the destination, it prioritizes routes that get physically closer to the destination in terms of Cartesian distance. And an A-star search algorithm, it's used in a lot of different things like video games and like generating routes around roads. So it's very efficient, and you can find pretty well optimized paths. And another key feature of my app is that you can input your schedule into the app. So you can input all the buildings in order that your schedule has them in, and you can simply click a button and I didn't mean to start that. The video's not supposed to start yet, sorry. Yeah. You can click a button and it'll show you all the different the routes that you have to take throughout the day. Yeah, I'm ready now. Okay. So the first feature that I'm demonstrating here is the search function. So you can simply type in any building you want or its building code, and it will show you where that building is located. And you can pull up the panel from the bottom, and it'll pull up search results about that building from the UNM website, so you can quickly find information about that building. So another option you can use is to just drag around the map and simply tap on a building. So for example, it taps on the sub here, and the same panel pulls up, and you can find information quickly about that building. Now if you click on the directions button, you can choose your starting point and your destinations. So I click on starting point, and here, for example, you can just tap on another building and then click get directions, and then using the A-star search algorithm, it finds the quickest path between those buildings. Of course, those 2 close buildings, it's pretty obvious it's a straight line. So another option you have is to use your current location via GPS. So here I have the emulator's location set to a random place on campus. And click get directions, and here it chooses a path, and it clearly avoids buildings, so you won't have to go straight through buildings or anything like that. And of course, another option is to simply just search for the building. You just type it in. So for example, Dane Smith Hall, and then click get directions, and it shows you the path. So of course, those are very simple examples, but you can choose buildings on opposite sides of the campus, and it'll show you which buildings to avoid and things like that. So if you go to the schedules layout, you can search for all the buildings on central campus and select them in the order that your schedule has them in. So that way you don't have to search for every single building in your schedule manually. It's just always going to be there. And so here I just add a sample 5 buildings that might be on your schedule. And so once you have all the buildings selected, you can go back to the main layout and click the top floating action button. And then it will generate all the paths that you should take throughout the day for your schedule. So those are the main features of my app. I think it has a lot of values to freshman students or anyone who's unfamiliar with the campus in general. I think one potential place to take this app is to maybe integrate it into the official UNM Lobo app, because the Maps functionality there uses Google Maps, and like I said before, that has problems with like not being too clear. And with this app, you have a lot of freedom and a lot more features that you can take advantage of. So that's all I have for today. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
So the data points for the buildings, is that the one that's just found publicly on the map? On the UNM maps?
Yeah, so all the buildings, internally, it has all the GPS coordinates hard-coded. Yes, so yeah, if you, like if in the future, if I wanted to update the map or something, or like use a different graphic, for example, then all the buildings, like they'll still remain the same, because their GPS like don't change or anything, so.
So if we add a new, right now UNM is building a Paris building, will that come up here too? Will you be able to find that building?
Yeah, so it wouldn't be very difficult to update it, because it's just like a text file with all the different buildings in it, so I just have to add the new building and then just update the map.
So in terms of enhancement, I don't know, maybe you didn't get a chance to show it, but if I had, like for a lab that's inside of Centennial Building, floor 2, lab number 203, will I be able to find that?
It doesn't show you specifics about each building, but that definitely would be a good feature to add in the future, to show like what different floors and labs are in that building.
Oh,
What's the functionality, or how are you coding this, or what feature are you using that already exists to plot your distance and your track and like skirting right around the buildings and that? How are you doing that functionally?
So behind the scenes, there's it just keeps track of like which pixels on the map aren't buildings, and it's not specific to this map. It takes a look and sees like if there's a bunch of black pixels that are cluttered really close together, then it can assume that that's a building, and so that's essentially how it works. And then just navigates and makes sure that none of the paths actually like go straight through a building.
Does this walk with you? If you start somewhere and then as you walk, does a dot move with you?
It does not. That would be a good feature to add in the future, though.
I was going to ask a similar question. Does it have a direction sense?
It does not. Yeah, though. Yeah, I imagine that wouldn't be terribly difficult to implement either. Yeah.
How does it display if I have my schedule has 2 classes in the same building, one right after the other? How does it display?
It pretty much just ignores it if 2 classes are in the same building, because it doesn't allow you to navigate through like in an individual building. It's just like across campus.
So right now it's just showing a 2D version of it. You want, is a 3D implementation down the road? Is it something that you thought about maybe?
I imagine that 2D version, or a simple 2D map would suffice for just simple navigation, navigating. But I think maybe like if you wanted like a 3D view on ground level of like around a certain building, that would be a good feature to add.
Because I look at your shortest path algorithm, it crosses right through some greens, right? So
yes.
if I'm walking, should I just walk straight through the duck pond, or does it kind of like allow me to
it does avoid certain things like the duck pond. It won't tell you to go straight through it. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephen Aber. I'm with Albuquerque Town Hall, and what this is a virtual town hall for Albuquerque residents and representatives to interact with each other and sort of build community and to learn about local politics. So the problem space that my team saw behind for developing this app was that one, we thought a lot of people didn't know that much about local politics, and 2, the current town hall website is sort of it's like a one-way repository. You can leave comments, and everything's spread out, and so it's kind of hard to follow the issues that you care about, and it's also kind of hard to get a response. And so this is more of like it's aimed at being more interactive, more like an in-person town hall. So when you go to albuquerquetownhall.com, you'll see this sign-up page, and we would like people to sign up because so that people keep interacting. You can see who responds to your question. You can vote on issues, and that's so you can technically access it without having an account, and that's what we'll do for the time being. But that's kind of why we decided just to put a login with a sign up instead of open to the public, I guess. So, Garth. Right, and so when you sign in, when you sign up to Albuquerque Town Hall, you'll put your address in, and that address gets geocoded by Google Maps API, and we use City of Albuquerque's data to determine which district you're in, and so this is my address, and I'm in District 2, and so that's the one that you see highlighted, and you can click on the outline district, and it'll show you some information about your representative, some of their staff, and a contact. So what I've been trying to do with this is make it more personalized. So you can follow like the category of news articles you want. You can follow certain issues, etc. And those all come from City of Albuquerque's RSS feed. Okay, so if you scroll down a bit, you can see I've got like the last couple the tweets from Albuquerque City Town Hall, and this is just some Ipsum, just gibberish really, but you can imagine maybe like in the last mayoral race where the candidates had a AMA on Reddit. This is sort of designed so that they could do that here, and people would post questions, and they could determine like what's the most pressing issue based on how many votes or likes or dislikes a certain question had. And then, so if you can click reply. Okay, and that's where you would reply if there were a reply. Then we can head back to the district. And so, with my address in District 2, I'm only allowed to post and vote in District 2. So if you were to go to, say, District 10, I could see it, but I couldn't vote or I couldn't interact with the posts there. And this might not have any content in it. I haven't loaded any of some here, so. But I think that's about. So that's where we are right now. So what I would like to do in the future is add what's called get text for translation, and then I would also like to add some of the probably another kind of feed like this for news, and you can, I guess, an RSS feed that you can customize, and sort of make it more of like a dashboard for each user. So that's Albuquerque Town Hall. I hope you guys liked it.
So definitely a charged topic that you've taken on in light of in election meddling and these types of things. Is there a concern over me creating multiple personas and multiple districts with the intention of flaming or other inciting my neighbors, my fake neighbors, towards issues?
Yeah, that's a concern that we originally discussed, but so I mean you'd have to have you have to have a unique email for each account you create, and so I mean I guess if you had 100 emails. We would have to find it somewhere around that, but currently it's sort of on the back burner.
Who would be moderating these conversations?
Right, so me, I guess. For the time being, yeah, we don't have any sort of moderation or like administration set up. I assume that someone moderates like the RSS feed of the city, because you can actually post comments there, and so we would sort of set something similar up.
You most likely would be the policy analyst for the counselor, just so you're aware. The counselors themselves may want to post their own responses, more likely the policy analyst will post a response on their behalf. Personally, I think it would reduce a little bit. There's some level of manipulation that somebody's going to go through all
Sure.
the time, but I think it would reduce it a little bit if I could vote on something in District 7, even though I'm District 9, but it just notes that I'm from District 7, because what
Yeah.
happens in District 7 may be important to me too.
Sure.
And that could be useful for the counselor to know. They have to represent the people who live in the district and the people who work in the district, the people who travel through it. So I would just suggest that might be the way to get through that piece. I think the moderation capability is important. We're very careful. I work for the city. And I agree with you, the current town hall assistant, we didn't use the word, I use the word, it's not good. Let's just leave it there. But moderation, we try not to moderate based on viewpoint, but we will moderate based on things threatening or whatever. So I think that needs to be baked in somehow, just so you're aware. It's an interesting manifestation.
Thanks.
How do you plan to go ahead and get the word out and get some adoption of usage?
So I think once we get all the features that I mentioned, the language translation and the RSS feeds, and I probably deal with the moderation aspect, I think at that point it might be ready to show to some people. And I think it's sort of aimed as something that would be owned by the city more so than like a public or a private company. But if you look at like the current 311 app, that's also a private application. So I guess I could see it either way.
Is this both an app and a website right now?
So right now it is just a website, but it's mobily responsive. If you shrunk it down, or if you go to it on your phone, you could see the columns sort of align if it's vertical or horizontal. Yeah.
So I guess one of the things that I was thinking about when you brought up your website, and I wanted to figure out or have a quick way to see what people are talking about. Do you guys plan to implement any sort of like text analysis or anything like that, or any sort of like word clouds, or any way to see what people are talking about and what are the issues per district or anything like that, and have a quick way to see what the conversation is about those issues?
Yeah, so on the landing page, I had originally wanted to put the local news RSS feed, but I like that idea, the word cloud. So I'll definitely look into that.
Tagging on to that, how about a classification on, or a hierarchy, or the ability to follow certain conversations, or even flag inappropriate,
Sure, yeah. The flag's definitely a good idea, and the following the certain conversations is one of the things that I was looking to add in the immediate future.
Search.
Just search?
Search, yeah.
Oh, search.
All of it. I mean,
Yeah.
There's a lot of just a bunch of features.
Sure. Thanks.
So I don't know how the current one is as far as the ability of the counselors to ignore it completely.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's on the dashboard on the homepage or something, there's some it starts getting red or blinking that, hey, Congressman X has all these
sort of,
pressing issues that they haven't replied to yet.
yeah. It's
Create
really,
some kind of sense of urgency with it.
that's a good idea. Thanks.
What was the most challenging part of developing this?
So recently it was, I guess it's always been the spatial data. This leaflet map is JavaScript, and it's like JavaScript mixed with TypeScript. And so there were like two similar languages that didn't necessarily mesh well, but oh, I'm out of time.
Hello, my name is Calder Benjamin, and these are my teammates Marcus Caldera and Nick Paschetti. Nick will go ahead and lead us off in the introduction of the app.
So, as I said, our app is named KindHub. So KindHub is an app that's designed to streamline donations for both those on the giving and receiving end of the donation process. So basically, fundamentally, it gives anybody who wants to a platform for being able to set up a donation center for their community. So users are able to set up and donate to hubs around the city. The hubs are what we call our donation centers. And then anybody who wants to is able to go to those hubs and either give donations very easily, or on the other side of it, families in need, people in need are able to go to those hubs and receive donations very quickly and efficiently.
Real quick, it's actually timed to go into the next segment with the introduction in it, so just go ahead and press play on it now. Yeah.
So we wanted to create this app first and foremost because we wanted to do something that would be beneficial and help give back to the community. Even though there's lots of different platforms out there for donations, we wanted to sort of be able to get around some of the bureaucratic and nature of some of those by sort of cutting out the middleman, so we wouldn't have to pay for anybody to be running these these donation centers or anything like that. Just people would be able to just set up the donation centers, make it real easy for people to come and get donations from them, and most importantly for people to that need them to receive those donations. So we're aiming to help mitigate some of those problems that are inherent in some of the more centralized organizations for donations. And most importantly, make it very simple, quick, and easy for everybody involved to get and receive their donations.
So yeah, like he was saying, it's basically just a more streamlined way. There's going to be a bit of a lag here now between, but it's going to start taking you through the flow. So you can see this right here is just the landing page for the website. Part of the reason that we made it as a website, as opposed to also being an app on Android or on iOS, is so that it's more accessible to a wider audience. Basically, anyone could go to the library, for instance, and just find this website there. They don't need to have the specific operating system that they would need to have accessible to this. It does, however, scale down to a mobile format quite nicely. So you can see here, these are all of the hubs. They are displayed there. Over there, there is the Google Map API, so the hubs will display on the Google Maps as well. And as people create them, it will dynamically put them into the map as well. So whenever someone creates a hub, you can immediately see where it's located in Albuquerque. We'll go ahead and sign in here. And here's the profile page. We do want to expand it in the future, but for now we just have a pretty basic overline profile. You can see you can have a little image if you want, a few little things, and then this will go through the creation of a hub. And then you can put in an address, and once again, that will immediately go into our database and be displayed on the front end as well. And so it uses the Google Maps database to actually have all of the addresses, so you don't have to be as specific as you would if it were a different API. So you can see there it is, right there, that new dot is created from the Create Hub, right there.
So moving forward, I think we have a lot of big plans for it, and we want to keep it as local as we can for now. We particularly tend to focus on giving back to our community, and in that process, we have found a couple ways to keep it going. Web servers aren't that expensive to maintain. All we need is a few developers who will probably work for free, and including all of us, we've kind of kept it in our pockets and just have continued to develop it and create ideas. And we also look forward, we've written a couple of classes and different ways to organize and give back to the donors themselves. In the profile section, we have a moderating system, and we're working on a receipting system so that the moderator can then give the user a receipt for whatever they donated, whatever it would be, whether it be cash or a donation of clothes or food. That's where we're going to take it on in the future.
We're also potentially planning on moving into a nonprofit. This is long-term, once we kind of actually get it set up, and once we would need potential funds to keep it running, we could go ahead and keep it running with donations from users and from power users. So we want to start off by finding a couple of people. We'll advertise it through the hubs themselves. So once we find a couple of people that are really interested in the idea, we'll have them start off in hubs in very central locations that a lot of people will tend to find, and they can hand out flyers at the hubs themselves. So we can kind of advertise for the hubs through the hubs, and as people get to hear more about it, it will kind of grow naturally, and we won't need to do a lot of advertisement outside of that. And so that about concludes the presentation. We are opening up to questions now. Yes?
Hi, so how do you make a donation, or?
Just like through the website doesn't actually have anything for the donations on it. The website is more of just a framework for people to be able to use when they want to. So the whole purpose of the app was to keep the overhead to a minimum. So we'll have the individual users that create the hubs will be in charge of the donations. If that does cause a problem in the future, we are looking to potentially add an item category that you can say when it is donated, what you're donating, and then the owner of the hub will also be able to ascertain and confirm that that was donated. So that'll be kind of a community moderated way to keep track of all the items that are coming in and out of the hubs.
And I think in terms of flow, you have to be a user, you have to have an active profile in order to create a hub. And it is just on the profile menu. When you click on your profile, it says create a hub, and it leads you to a different modal menu where you can then create a hub.
However, you don't have to be a user to donate. If you just want to donate anonymously, you can go ahead and go to any hub, donate what you're giving, and then it'll be very streamlined for users that don't want to be bogged down with anything like that.
The idea behind it was accessibility.
Mm-hmm. Yes?
How do I know what each hub has?
Once again, that's something we're going to be looking towards expanding into with the items. We were learning how to code while we were doing this, so we weren't able to do all of the ideas that we had at the start of it. However, moving forward, we're going to look to add something like that into it. Once again, when a user donates an item and when the hub owner or whoever's running the hub at that time confirms that the item was donated, that will then show up. We'll have a hub info tab. And so the hub info, thank you, the hub info tab will show a list of all of the items that are currently at that hub.
We have the classes written out for it,
Mm-hmm.
and we just couldn't we didn't have enough time to integrate it into the front end.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So let me just follow up. So what kind of items, you mentioned cash, will the hub?
Once again, that would be something that we'd be looking into potentially once we get into the nonprofit. But until then, we're not just going to have
people giving away cash.
Yeah, that's not something that we're looking to have until we have a dedicated framework to accept that through all of the necessary procedures. We're not just going to have cash given and freely. Yeah.
Go ahead.
How are you going to market this app and get people to start using it?
Once again, so we're going to start off with just a few people that we know that are like very interested in having the donations, and we'll have some flyers for them. And so when they create the hubs, they'll have their own amount of things that they're already willing to donate. Like we'll start them off with just canned food, blankets, clothing, things like that, and then they will have the hubs in central locations around Albuquerque where there's a lot of foot traffic, and they'll hand out the flyers as people come up and be like, oh, what is this kind hub? What's going on with that? The flyers, and we're kind of hoping that it spreads through a lot of word of mouth, because once again, the primary demographic that we're trying to target and to help is unhoused individuals, and they don't have a lot of the traditional media advertisement available to them. So having that through word of mouth is kind of what we're going for with that.
And I think guerrilla marketing has been sort of effective for us already. We've been in touch with a couple nonprofit organizations who are really excited that something like this is actually coming to fruition. I think that people need the convenience to donate without lacking the confidence that their donation isn't going to be thrown aside.
So can anyone create like their own kind of donation spot, or are these for like kind of more like registered nonprofit?
Anyone can create, yeah.
The whole idea behind the app was accessibility, because donations happen. We saw the problem being that donation centers kind of shied away from certain things. Like if closed didn't exactly meet the criteria, they would just say, no, we're not taking that. But we think that anybody has the capability to give out to their community in any sort of way.
And did that also answer yours, or?
That kind of answers my
Okay.
question. I mean, I was thinking, and you guys kind of answered the other part of my question. I was thinking, have you guys thought about integrating it with social media, like Facebook, Twitter, that kind of stuff, so that, maybe you can share a hub with somebody, or create your profile based on your Google profile, things like that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we're looking towards in the future. I think to start off with, we definitely want to integrate some sort of OAuth, possibly starting off with Google or Facebook to start off with, and then maybe expand out from there and actually integrating it into some of the social networking sites.
Yes.
So what about, unscrupulous person creates a hub and there's, something not great going on at that location? How are you doing?
If it does expand and if it does take off the way that we're hoping it to, that will be when the reputation system takes effect. So we will use the reputations that the users and the users that are receiving donations and the users that are giving donations to self-moderate. So we will have a set floor. So if the reputation of a hub or of a user goes below a certain number, they won't be able to make a hub, their hub will be taken off, and so we know that people won't be donating to people that are going to try and use this for their own advantage and things like that. So if, for say, someone donates to something and says, hey, this is the item that I gave, the person running it says, yes, they did, and then later when someone goes to get it, it's not there, that'll take care of that. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, we've got Parental Values, an app to place parental controls for children and how they communicate with schools and other technology. So to introduce and learn a little bit more, we've got Jason Boxing.
Yes,
Take it away.
hi. Well, thank you very much. I am going to stick to some cards here because I am a senior here at Anderson. I started this in my sophomore year, so I'm trying to cram all this into 6 minutes, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. I am a father. I've got 2 kids, so as a parent, I know what kind of challenges there are and what type of leadership it takes to keep kids focused. And one of the things that we all want are to have kids with higher grades. Kids want higher grades, and also teachers want higher grades. They want a higher graduation rate, and right now is the best time to take action on that. So this is my company, Parental Values. You can go ahead and start that. Parental Values is a way to integrate parents, teachers, and students and really expand on how they're communicating, how kids are using their mobile devices. This is a parental control. There's features that will allow parents to interject learning videos. Teachers can interject learning videos. These are just some screen caps. I wanted to show that there's multiple platforms that this is designed for. There's a dashboard that parents will log into. I don't know if anybody here has tried parental control before. I have a 16-year-old that can single-handedly disable them and bypass them, start a new Gmail account, use the airplane mode. I mean, and the thing is that's not progressive. That's not being on the same level as our kids. And this is going to give us an opportunity so that our children are going to listen. They're going to take our advice And so this right here is an example of how a parental control works. I'm going to go ahead and put a block on this. And I appreciate you guys looking at this. I am trying to keep up with that, but this is going to be the block screen. This is what the kids are going to see if they try to access something that they're not supposed to, or at a certain time. There's also a block screen, and this block screen has 3 different functions. It has a video, so if they were to try to access this during dinner time, it's going to offer up a video that a teacher may have uploaded so that they can learn something before they access online media. So this is a requirement. This is a geo map. Everybody's using maps nowadays, and now at this point on the video, the parents are creating a fence. So if the child leaves the area, it's going to send a notification to the parents. I've got 5 different feeds that are active right now. I've got 13 that are in development. This is just to demonstrate that when the phone leaves that geo fence, it's going to send an alert. This is in development also, but there's 3 different functions that this is going to do if they leave, if they enter, and vice versa. Now, I don't know if there's a way to show these. Is there a way to do this so that everybody can see this? These are basically the, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And let me go ahead and read off these because it looks like it's kind of difficult to read there. So I've got devices, apps blocking, time management, contacts, and the contacts are currently syncing. Do you mind pausing this for just 1 second so I could just get caught up here? Contacts, we've got unknown or blocked, and also messaging, so that if a contact is blocked by a parent, they're not going to be able to text the kids. If it's someone that they don't know, it's a safety issue, they can be blocked, and they'll be blocked by phone and also texting. And also an alert will be sent out to the parents. If we could go ahead and hit start. Looks like I'm running out of time here. So the Safe Drive is a huge feature. This is something that I think all phones should come with. If the child is driving, if it's a teenager and they're driving and they exceed a certain speed limit, at this point it's going to send an alert to the parent. And it's going to say, hey, you know what, this child is speeding. But the second version that will be coming out is also going to disable things like text, chat, internet, games, all of those things before, while they're driving. Okay, so there's a lot of safety issues that I've covered. Like I said, this is a company I've been working on for about 1.5 years. It is certified to do government bidding. My main market is going to be public schools. So right now I have been certified with Duns & Bradstreet, so I can do government bidding. I'm registered with VetBiz because I'm a veteran, and also I'm working with PTAP and PTAC, which is a veteran mentoring company that has led me to SBIR, which is Sandia Labs and Los Alamos, which are just fantastic. And so I plan on requesting that they validate my code and also validate the security, because APS, along with other public schools, have a high security standard. And I need to make sure that my software meets that before I start to do business with them. So that is my company. I hope you guys have questions, because this is my life, you know. I really appreciate this, being able to show you guys this. So ask away, please. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
So it's tied to a phone device? Is the parent managing someone else's phone device?
That's correct. It gives the parents the ability to block a download. It also allows the parents to limit the amount of time that their kids can spend on it. And there's a varying amount of control that a parent can use, because kids want to be respected, they want their time respected, and they don't want somebody hovering over them all the time. But as a parent, you know, we want to give them that leadership, you know, without competing with the phone, so we kind of need to lay off a little bit time and time again.
So how do you claim that device? Me as a parent, I own that phone number. What's that process?
Okay, I'm gonna grab this. So one of the items on the parent's dashboard is devices. This is what syncs up. When I did the introduction video, I had taken a little more time to show how to install it. Part of that installation process syncs the phone with the dashboard. It's using a PHP script. Those are the 5 different feeds that I'm using to keep that dashboard live. Does that answer your question, sir?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Go
So
ahead.
if you are synced and you have ownership technically of your kid's phone, what if all of a sudden now you're in a cave and you don't have service and all that, and what the last setting stays relevant, or what happens then? As soon as you're out of cell service, your kid starts actually bypassing the rules in that place.
I understand your question completely. That's a good question. That's something I haven't addressed yet. I haven't thought about losing signal. I lose it all the time. I do know that as soon as the phone comes into service area, it'll come right back up on the map for the geo mapping. I don't have a solution for that quite yet, but that's definitely something that I'll be looking into. Yes, sir.
One suggestion that I can make along the lines of what you were saying is, do you guys use? I mean, does it work through Wi-Fi also, and not just cellular service?
It does. Now, one of the things about that Wi-Fi is that kids often use the Wi-Fi. They can use a dead phone or whatever just to bypass any type of parental control that may be on a phone, and that is something that I am also working on, where parental values will send an alert if, for example, it is shut off for whatever reason. So the Wi-Fi, that also does work with the geo mapping at this point, and I'll be doing more testing with that also. I think some of these gentlemen that are using these advanced mapping techniques, I think that's incredible. And so right now I'm using the Google Maps, and it is effective, but for a teacher, for example, if they want to know the location of their students, they may need something that's a little more accurate, like some of these gentlemen are using a different type of mapping system. Yes, sir.
Two questions. First is, how do you know that the holder of that device is driving? How do you not know? How do you know that they're driving opposed to the passenger?
Opposed to the passenger?
Yeah, my
I see
daughter syncs up her iPhone with my wife's car all the time because my daughter has a better playlist.
Yes.
So if my daughter's not driving, if I were putting this in, how do you know that if she is driving, how do you know she's driving versus she's your passenger?
Well, one of the items here on the block screen is request for unblock. So they're going to be able to request from you and say, hey, look, I'm not driving. That's one of the details that I can definitely implement something for that.
Okay. The second question is, can you tell me a little bit about your security? There's a lot of data in here.
Absolutely.
What's the security look like?
Okay. Right now, my coders are using, and I'm more of a project manager. This is my business that I've been building. They're using a closed system. It's a proprietary. Before I go to APS, like I said, I'm going to end up working with the Sandia Labs in Los Alamos to make sure that the code is up to date. I've been informed that the code will be already in an HTTPS format and using the PHP. My understanding is that there will be a higher level of security. Definitely something that matches the public schools here.
That's the code. What about the database on the back end?
The database, that's also going to have to go through the labs. The labs will, after they validate the code, that's where I can start doing my bidding. I'm not going to rush it. I understand that there are security issues. Now, one thing that I can vouch for is that a lot of the apps are not secure. And I know this because if a 16-year-old can disable it, that really shows you the level that these apps are at. And so he's been kind of my inspiration, because I can give him something and he can tell me whether or not he can, and as far as coding goes, he has gone through the Sandia Labs. They have a code camp, and he's gone through that. And so, I'm working towards that. That is an issue that I'm sure is going to come up. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Question kind of along those lines. How does the time, yeah, time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know, you guys are welcome to contact me afterward also. My contact information is on the webpage, and also all my certification information and all of my registration is right on the webpage. This is a recording, but like I said, I recommend that you check out parentalvalues.com and grab that information. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Well, hello. Can you guys hear me? All right. My name is Nick Foles, and today I'm talking about abqtransit.com. abqtransit.com is an app for bus riders. It's an app that turns data into information, and it's an app that makes riding the bus system fun and efficient. So what led me to create this app was being stranded several times in my life in the city somewhere in the world, and I needed to ride the bus. And I couldn't find the information that I needed to do that efficiently. So I would be standing at a bus stop. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew what bus line was standing in front of me, but I didn't know when the buses were going to come. I didn't know how long I'd have to wait for the next bus to arrive. And I didn't even know where I would be able to transfer to get to where I was going. So this app kind of tackles all of those issues. And I'm just going to jump into the demonstration right now. And we'll try to coordinate the timing here. I did prepare a script just to keep the timing going on, so apologies ahead of time if I'm a little bit dry. Let's go. abqtransit.com is a mobile-friendly navigator for Albuquerque's public transit system. The site presents real-time vehicle data fused with route and schedule information published by the city's transit department. The app runs entirely in the browser. The server only hosts static data files, while the live data feed is provided by the city of Albuquerque. When you first load the site, you'll see an overview of the city's most popular bus route, Route 66. You'll also see real-time vehicle data overlaid on the map. All buses displayed in the map are correlated in real time to their assigned route. This allows us to color code the buses, red for outbound buses and blue for inbound buses. The web app is based around a map view and a slide-up menu area. Both views are persistent, but the user can freely adjust how much of each view they want to see. Now let's walk through a typical use case. The first thing you might want to do is find out when your bus will be arriving. Let's imagine we're on UNM campus and want to take Route 766 to Uptown. First, we'll select Route 766 and zoom in to our location on campus. The first thing you'll notice is that the map shows us exactly where our stop is. If we point to our stop, we're presented with a stop view that shows exactly when we can expect our next bus. And if we scroll up here, we can see that the next bus is expected in about 20 minutes. And this is coming from the live data. Now, let's explore the app to see some additional features. The app currently supports 4 primary views. First, we can view general information about the selected route, such as the basic route schedule. We can also see how many buses are currently running on the selected route. Next, we can view a detailed route schedule similar to the printed route schedule produced by the city. This view is a little difficult to navigate on mobile devices, but it does provide a helpful reference and is more usable on larger format devices or the desktop. The next 2 views are more mobile friendly and highlight the power of dynamic data presentation on mobile devices. The route detail view shows a complete summary of the selected route, including all stops serviced by the route. On the surface, this may seem like a relatively simple view to produce, but there's more going on than meets the eye. Notice that the route view doesn't actually show every stop along the route. If you've ever ridden the bus in Albuquerque, you know that routes like Route 66 have a lot of redundant stops, near side, far side stops, for example. This view summarizes the route by hiding unnecessary detail, making it easier to understand the information. Each stop is depicted by its stop name, stop code, transfer routes, and the real-time location of active buses along the route. The route path is depicted by a line, showing each stop and whether the stop has transfers. The outbound route is shown in red, and the inbound route is shown in blue. Finally, the stop detail view presents the most concise and useful information for riders. As we browsed through the route detail view, the web app tracked our stop selection, and we can now see information for our target stop. Here at Louisiana and Central, we see that this stop is serviced by 4 routes, 66, 157, 766, and 777. As we browse through the different routes, the actual bus stop locations are highlighted on the map above to help us find our way. Red stops indicate stops for the selected route, while blue stops represent transfer stops. Next, we can review the actual estimated arrival times. Arrival time estimates are generated based on the city's live data feed fused with the published route information. We can also review the published schedule for this stop. The schedule that you see here is dynamically generated in the browser based on the route data published by the city. Future improvements will include geolocation to help riders find the nearest stop, user preferences to track favorite routes and stops, and various usability enhancements. I also hope to implement routing in the web app to enable browser history and link backs to specific views. And with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come here today. I really hope you enjoy this app, and if you ride the bus, I really hope that this can help you be a more efficient bus rider. Thank you. Yes?
If it was my first time using the app, how would I know like the color coding that you explained and what all of the different icons are?
That's a very good question. So how would you know what everything meant? I think that kind of goes to the usability that I was talking about. So I didn't have a lot of time to do usability with this. I haven't had a lot of opportunities to show the app to other people. But to really put this app out there, I would conduct a usability study and get people's feedback as to what they thought colors meant and things like that, and try to improve that. Yes?
How do you plan on marketing it?
Marketing. That's going to be a difficult one. As the app was designed just for Albuquerque in the initial round, but the background of the app is that it actually consumes the GTFS data. It's a Google Transit specification published by the city and published by municipalities all over the world. They all use the same system. So the way this is designed is it can be applied to any transit system in any city. There is a back end that consumes all this data and produces this site. So there's a very low overhead in maintaining this type of site. So Albuquerque is kind of a proof of concept. I hope to market it through events like this, just to get the app out there, just to get it in front of people's eyes, in front of people who manage this data from the city, and hopefully use this opportunity with Albuquerque as a staging ground for expanding to other areas around the world and other cities.
Really great job with the screencast and the narration through that.
Thank you.
How does this app compare to some of the apps that are currently out there in this town for tracking buses?
Very good question. How does this app compare to other apps that are around? So I will talk about the one that the city promotes, which is Where's My Bus, which is actually made by the university IT department. If you go to the Where's My Bus app, you can see a list of the bus routes and choose which ones you want to see. And 15 or 20 seconds later, you might see a route pop up on the screen, and some buses will appear. And they're not coded. There's no kind of schedule information included in that. It literally shows you where the bus is on the map. It doesn't even really clearly show you which direction the bus is going. So from a rider's perspective, what does a rider get out of that? They can just see where the bus is, but they don't know how long they're going to have to wait. For example, I was using this the other day. I was waiting for my bus, and I wanted to get a bite to eat. So I was waiting at my bus stop, and I pulled up the app, and it said, oh, the bus is going to be 15 minutes. I've got time to go get a coffee. And I can go in and get a coffee and still come back and catch my bus right on time. And that's something that none of the current apps provide. Yes?
Yeah, great presentation and looks very professional. Is there a trip planner section of it, if I don't know what route and I know I need to get from A to B?
Yes, good question. So is there a trip planner built into this? It is a natural question, and it's a natural assumption that there would be a trip planner. I didn't include one in this version because of the limited time that I had to develop the app. And I wanted to focus mainly on features that weren't available in other places. So if you go to Google, you can do a trip planner. You can go to the city's website, and you can do a trip planner. With this one, my focus for the first version was really the rider's experience, the person who rides the bus every day, and they know where they're going, and they can pull up this app and find the real-time information. But trip planning is a great feature that I would like to add to this app in a future version. Thank you. Yes?
One thing that I ride the bus a lot, you know, and I've seen the app, the Where's My Bus app, I use it all the time. So one thing that I always think about that kind of catches me is I ride my bike to the bus stop, and a lot of times the bike rack in the front of the bus will be filled, and I'll have to wait for like the next bus. Sometimes that can cause me to be late. So I don't know if you collect any data that can help with a situation like that, or if the city does, or if maybe that's something that can help you separate or differentiate between other apps as well.
That's great feedback. So one feature that some cities provide with their live data feed is bus occupancy. And I don't think that the city of Albuquerque provides that information right now. So, but adding the bike rack information to that feed would be phenomenal. And that would be great feedback for the city of Albuquerque. Yes. Yes?
Oh, sorry, there's only 1 minute left.
Yes. Oh, okay, 1 minute left.
That is something that we have looked into. We don't yet know how to effectively and reliably capture, but the use case is prevalent. Yeah, we've had several ideas. The use case is prevalent, and to display it is something that we've contemplated. Have you checked this with accessibility? How does this work if somebody is vision impaired?
Oh, very good question. I haven't.
Okay.
And again, like I mentioned in the beginning of my responses, I haven't really done a lot of usability studies with this, but including an option for accessibility is really important. That would assume that a person who was visually impaired had a smartphone even, because this user interface is all graphical. The city does provide the text to ride feature already, and this could be integrated with that. Actually, if you go to if you scroll this view down, there is a search field up there, and you can type in the bus code or the stop code, and it will take you to the bus stop. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This next app I'm super excited to see. It's an app to improve spelling for children, but I could actually really use it. It actually reminds me of we just started a new boat camp with a group of students, and I typed to my colleague, hey, where's the roster for the new students? And apparently I put roaster instead of roster, and so she just was like, who are you roasting? So with that, I'd like to invite up Ken Wynn, who's going to talk us a little bit about her app, WordPal.
Okay, so you can go ahead and start the video. Hi, my name's Kim, and this is my app, WordPal. Originally, I came up with this app for my two nieces. They're starting to learn how to spell, and they're taking their weekly spelling lists, but they're kind of having trouble focusing on it. So I thought, why not turn it into a game? And in the app, you can get points if you get the word correct, and if you get the word incorrect enough times, it gives you the right answer. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the demo. There's a start, edit list, and quit option. We're going to start by clicking edit list here in the middle. And then on the top left corner, there's an enter list name, and you can create your new list here. We're going to go ahead and press it and make a list 2. You see the list is empty, and you can add a new word on the top right corner. And on the top right corner, we're going to go ahead and put 1, 2, and 3 in it. And if you want to delete one of the words, you can go ahead and just click on the word, and it'll remove it from the list. And if you click on the red X next to the list, it'll delete the list altogether. And if we click the list here, it'll be selected for the game. And we can just go ahead and press go back. Then you can click start up here. And it'll say cat, but we don't have any audio here. It uses a built-in text-to-speech inside the phone. So I'll go ahead and spell cat. Oh, I lied, it's dog. And I'm spelling it incorrect. You can see it says wrong and it makes like a jarring ding sound. And when I spell correct, it says good job and it goes da-da-da-da. And in this, I'm gonna purposely spell it wrong 3 times so you can see that when you spell it wrong, you can see the correct spelling and it gets re-added into the game so you could try again. And on the top left corner, if you need a repeat of the word, you can just go ahead and click say word and it'll say it again. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm just going through the app, doing very well spelling dog. I'm just going to become a spelling pro. And you can see how many words you got correct out of the attempts. You can press play again or menu. Okay, and so the extra things I wanted to add to this is I want to add an email list where it'll send a progress report where you can get how often you've been playing the app, how well you've been doing, and some extra graphs and stuff like that. And I was thinking of adding a list option where you can select multiple lists to add it into like a giant list to play the game. And then I was also going to add an option where you can download, or not actually download, but it'll have a dictionary built into it, and you'll be able to just go ahead start the game without having to enter your own list. And that's the end of my presentation. Any questions? Yes.
Can the words cycle randomly? Can they? You got dog, cat, and it went dog, cat.
Yeah.
Can it switch that up?
Oh yeah, of course it can.
So
It's mostly random, but sometimes they'll do dog iteratively. Right now you just see it says only dog and cat because we only have those 2 words.
20 words, the 15th word in that list could come up the first time this went through.
Yeah, so how...
memory is on the word, not on the order.
Yeah, how it works is that you can attempt the word 3 times. The word gets added into a giant list. So you get practice of the word 3 times. If you get it wrong, it gets re-added into the game. Yes?
Level of complexity and difficulty, is that something that could be incorporated? Because if you start with sight words like that and then they get it all the time, you want to incorporate some more difficult set of words that you want to teach them to
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking too. If you can add like maybe longer length words or more unfamiliar ones for the level.
Is there any like database of words for them to select from right now, or do these have to all be manually entered into the program?
At the moment, it's manually entered. Yes?
As far as an API or anything that you're integrated with right now, is the speech to text, is that dynamic as you have to be already connected, or is that?
No, it's built into the phone, so you don't have to worry about being connected.
So do you have any APIs currently that are interacting with your app that is gathering data from an external source?
No, nothing like
It's
that.
all contained in
It's
the
all
app.
just contained in the app.
What does it look like in the back end? What did you code with?
Oh, and use C#.
C#.
Yeah.
So who are you targeting right now? I know you started with your niece.
Yeah. Well, who am I marketing? Yeah, mostly I was thinking of marketing to schools in general, because I'd like it to be a tool for teachers to use for their classrooms, for their weekly spelling bees.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So then there'd be a teacher view and a student view, and the teachers could create the list, and then the students could attempt?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
How is the text-to-speech used in the app?
Oh, I just pulled, it's built in, and I just pulled from a library that's already built in where you can use the text-to-speech inside phones.
How did you make the app so graphically pleasing?
Oh, well, I've drawn for a majority of my life, so I decided to go ahead and just doodle out the things I usually have. Nothing in particular. I just used a color palette I had in a previous painting I had, and I decided to make it kind of doodly, so it's not too distracting while you're spelling.
So I noticed you have a webcam icon there. What's that for?
Oh, so this webcam icon, I actually recorded it on the phone because the program I recorded it, or I made it in, was Unity, and I want to kind of retain the same size of the phone.
Oh,
yeah. And there's also, like, you can see it clicking extra stuff.
So my colleague had a suggestion to use it to build the spelling bee word list, you know? A parent can use that and then the kid can practice using those words.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Any thought to other languages? When I was in Spanish here at UNM so many decades ago, cat and dog would have been really good things for me.
Yeah, I can expand to other languages. My mom was actually ecstatic when I came up with this app. She's like, I can learn how to spell too.
What system validates that the word is correct?
What system? It's not built in right now. You're gonna have to manually
So
do
as
it,
long
but
as it just is based off of whatever was manually put in. So if you accidentally spelled the word wrong when you put it in.
yeah, I'm going to have to add a spell checker on the as a dictionary in there.
Okay.
The text would not work if it was spelled incorrectly, though, right?
What? Oh, the text to speech? No, it'll still work because it'll just misspell it. Like, say, it's literally using the text to speech that you hear in computers, right? Where there's accessibility, it's usually built in all of the phones and stuff, where you can spell a word or a name and it'll say it for you.
But if you typed in D-A-W-G?
Yeah, it'll say D-A-W-G. Yeah.
Okay, so it's saying the letters, not the
Yeah, this one will say the letters if you say it like that. But if you spell dog, like how I spelled earlier, it'll still phonetically say dog.
And how about words like homonyms, like there?
Homonyms?
Yes, so they sound the same, but they're spelled
There.
differently.
There and there.
Yeah, and there.
That is a tricky one. I'm not sure. Perhaps I can add an extra one where it uses a sentence too.
So my name is Mauricio, and my app's a currently untitled social media music app with a focus on getting local artists recognized. There's currently only 2 major platforms for musicians to upload their music. You have YouTube and SoundCloud, where users would have to directly search for their videos, and even then they lack sociability. And then you have social apps such as like Instagram, where it's more focused on uploading pictures or up to 1-minute videos. So my goal was to combine these 2 ideas into a single platform where users can upload a full video of themselves singing or playing the piano or whatever. And then they select the 30-second highlight video, which will then display on their supporters feed. And you can start. So when you first open the app, you'll be prompted to either create an account or sign in. For the video, I'm going to create an account right now. You'll be asked to put in your email. And then you'll be asked to access your location for the ranking system. Then you can enter your full name, password, and then create an account. When you first create your account, it's going to send you to this menu, but there's nothing on it, so I'll come back to it later. I'm going to the camera tab to show you the uploading process. It'll ask you for 2 permissions, your camera and your microphone. If you swipe up, you can upload from a pre-recorded video, and it'll ask you again for your gallery permission. I'm going to choose this video from a friend singing a cover song. From here, you can double tap on the video, and it'll let the user select a 30-second highlight clip. Then you just enter your song name. And then on the bottom of that, is a song a cover switch. Because it's a cover, you can switch it on. And then you can put a small optional caption if you'd like. And then hit upload. It will send you back to the home screen, but I'll come back to it in a different account later. And then on the top, you can actually, okay, I'll come back to that. Here's the Discover page. You'll see a map with the user's current city. And in the bottom, it's going to show the local rankings of the artist in that location. It's currently being worked on, so I'll come back to that. I'll talk about more in depth later on. Here, you can select a profile picture. And then it's uploading to the database, so it takes a good 5 seconds. And then it shows it right there. So now signing into a different account who's supporting this user, you can see the user profile, and it says song covered by Haley Smith. And it's playing the 30-second clip right here, and then the user liked it. Here's the notifications tab. It's currently not implemented, but it's going to show just like likes or comments on the current video. And if there's any engagement with the or any change in the ranking system in the Discover tab. Unfortunately, I actually don't go back to. Could you go back to that Discover tab a little bit? A little bit after that part, actually. Right there, perfect. So on this tab right here, you can see the map on the top. It's going to have the user's current city. It's not going to be exactly on the user, just on the general area. And then the bottom, it's going to display all the local artists in that area. It's currently not implemented because it's the main part of the app, so I want to do the algorithm correctly. So it's currently in the works. For future app development, I want to in the home screen, it's only showing the 30-second clip, so I want to make the user let the user turn the phone sideways, and then they can watch the entire video like that. And then also the profile picture, I want to have a good, the profile page, I want to have a good user experience, so I'm also working on that part too. For marketing, I'm planning on alpha testing with some friends first, and then beta testing later on, locally, or as local as I can get, because it's going to be on the App Store. By promoting or networking with musicians around the state, talking to professors or music departments around the state and other universities. And then later on in the year, I'm actually going to Nashville, one of the top 3 music cities in the country, to promote the app over there. And actually, I think that's it. Yeah. Yep.
On the profile page, will an artist be able to enter their engagements, their gigs, and where their music can be purchased?
That's a great question, actually. So the question was if the artist can enter where they can buy their song, or or info like that where they're going to be playing. And that's actually something I want to implement later on. I want to. Because currently it only shows like where they're located, but I want them to be able to post something like I'm going to be playing at some place tonight, and then so like the users can like their supporters can get notifications from that, and they can go watch them. Yes.
Can you upload voice recordings, or does it have to be a video?
Currently, my idea was a video because whenever it's a voice recording, I feel like sometimes you don't get the full experience of what the singer is or what the musicians are doing. I feel like if you watch them, you can get more emotional and more emotion from them. And they're also unknown artists, so people might lose interest just from listening. So just want to have like a visual from there too. Yes.
What's the one thing that makes your app unique?
So it's mainly this tab right here. There's currently not really anything to look up artists in your area. And what I'm planning to do is have them ranked based on user engagement. So if the user, if one of their supporters liked the video, or watch the full video instead of the 30 seconds, it's going to put them higher on the rank. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the compression engine that you use and the trimming function.
So currently that's only on Apple's library for iOS. It will compress it for the whenever you're choosing a pre-selected video, but whenever you're recording a video yourself, it's currently not compressing it. So I have to implement that after. Yes.
Is there a function to save to your local device, or?
Oh, whenever you actually record the video, it's going to save it in your device too. Yeah, and then the pre-selected video is already in the device. Yep.
So you guys don't have like a central database where you're storing the videos that are uploaded?
I'm just for now, because of the just for the deadline I had for this. I'm using Google Firebase for the backend, and then I'm going to switch over to a dedicated language and then do all that backend stuff.
But do you store the videos that people upload?
Oh yeah, it's everything's right now. It's currently in Google Firebase storage too.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What do you have in place to help deal with copyright issues? Ensure that whoever uploads retains their copyright and doesn't infringe.
Great question, actually, because that's actually, I have to plan that out better I have to actually talk with some lawyers for that part, because that's actually why I have the idea if it's a cover switch. So it mentions that it's a cover of an actual song, but for the actual, if they upload an actual full-on copy of an entire song, I currently don't have any ideas of that for now, but I would have to think about that. Thank you. Yes, sir?
On the Discover tab here, have you thought about discovering local music artists by venues and what's playing in the area?
No, actually, I haven't thought about that, but just the way it works right now is just with the users who are currently using the app. Yes, sir?
Actually, to piggyback on what he said, one of the things that Albuquerque has and that's really good is restaurants that feature musicians, local musicians, and that kind of information is really crucial for people. Like, I like it. I want to know who is playing and which restaurant they're playing in, and that, I think, is very good information.
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to like the first question too. It's something that I do actually want to implement, so that the users can notify their supporters of where they're going to be playing, at what time and where. Yes, sir.
As far as monetization, you plan on charging people to have profiles, or?
So I'm actually the way I was kind of thinking about it is more of have a user base big enough so that companies would want to advertise their company on the app. So it would be mostly just from ad revenue. So after a big enough after I get enough active users, that companies would want to do that.
Is it called Untitled or Musique?
Well, I currently don't have a title for it.
They're both good. They're both good. Use one or the other.
Thank you. Any more questions? Cool. All right, thank you.
All right, so my name is Abigail Soward, and this is my app Orderly. This will be my signal. Next slide. So a little bit of background. Before I started at UNM, I worked at a local dairy called the Old Windmill Dairy. And over the summer, I was working at their farmer's market, taking care of the table. So one day when I was at the market, I offered some of our feta cheese to one of the bakeries who buys cheese from us. And he just looked at me in amazement because he had absolutely no idea that we even sold feta cheese. These two men had been working together for years, but he was so busy that he didn't have the time to keep caught up with all the new products that the Old Windmill was selling. And then later on that same day, I was chatting with Michael, who's one of the owners of the dairy, and he was saying that his business was really picking up and they were making a lot of income, but some of their customers were upset because some of the orders were getting dropped and forgotten about and misplaced. So clearly there's a problem here. And it got me thinking, small businesses, they have apps like QuickBooks and Square and a lot of other really cool tools, but none of them really just keep track of your orders for you and help you stay organized in that aspect. So my solution is Orderly. So what Orderly does is it consolidates all of your orders in a single list. So it's really hard to lose track of them when they're in a single list. It makes managing them really easy. And it also helps businesses share information about their products and their company with other local businesses. So it helps strengthen the local economy. All right, so this is the heart of the application. This is the current orders page, which is just a list of all of the orders that you have right now. So what it does is it takes orders from multiple places and it puts them all in this list. And when you mark an order as select as complete, it'll disappear from this list. So it helps businesses focus on what needs to be done right now. So when an order gets, or when a business gets a new order, it goes here to the pending order list. So what Orderly does is it automatically looks at your email inboxes for new orders. It automatically detects what business that order is coming from, and it'll send you the text of the email. So all you have to do is read this email and enter in what products that they're buying, and then press the Accept Order button, and it will go straight to your current order list for your staff to fill. And then finally, after an order has been marked as complete, it'll show up in the order history page. So this is all of the orders that you've filled in the past. It's searchable so that you can see what your customers have asked for in the past, because often they'll just say, just send us what you sent us last week. That was great. So that's a very useful, useful feature. So in addition to the order management, we also have each business who registers on the app gets a page that they can customize. They can add social media links, their contact information, some general information about their company, and even a little picture. And if they are interested, they also would have the ability to upload a product catalog. So they can add, is this video not playing? There it goes. So they can upload a picture of their business, a short description of their business, and then they can have a picture and a description for each of their products. So if you click on the product list here, it'll take you straight to their catalog, which is really just a quick visual overview of everything that that company offers. Next one. It's also possible to accept sales, like take orders directly on the app. So when when an order is made in this way, both the vendor and the customer have the ability to edit the order at any time. So if you need to change the delivery date, if you need to change the quantity of a product, or if you want to add an extra note, you have the ability to do that. And the other business will be notified as soon as there's a change, like in real time, it'll be notified. And then you can contact them if you need to. All right. Oh, this is the old version. That's okay. I have notes. So this is the technology that I used. You want to go to the technology page, Garth? This is the technology that I used. What I wanted to say was my my plans for the future for this app. So right now I'm in the alpha testing mode, and my old boss Michael, who works at the dairy, is my current and only tester. And I'm working on implementing support for reoccurring orders and to the ability to import your contacts from your email address. And once that's all implemented and it's at a basic level of functionality, I'm going to give him the ability to invite his customers to join the app. And then I'll be able to get feedback from them. And at that point, there's a couple other things that I want to do. I want to add a feature that uses like a machine learning kind of algorithm to interpret what products are being asked for in the emails, to make that process simpler for owners, because they are very short on time and they need it to be as simple as possible. And I also want to add a feature that sort of suggests really popular businesses or popular products in your local network. So that'll encourage people to sort of grow, expand their network, and just really strengthen the local economy in general. Finally, I'm going to add premium accounts. Premium accounts that you'll just pay a really small monthly fee, very reasonable, and you'll get a couple extra features like an @Orderly email address. And that is about it. We can go into Q&A. Yes? My major, I'm a computer science major. what am I now, junior.
Awesome presentation.
Oh, thank you. Yes?
Does the app provide any analytics to the vendor to maybe say, you know, this product was really hot of yours?
Yeah, that's a really good question if we do analytics. Well, a lot of other, like if you're managing your sales through Square, you already get that information. So that wasn't a priority to implement, but absolutely that would be a great idea just to have it all in one place so you don't have to be going to all these different apps. Or just integrate with Square. I really want to integrate with QuickBooks especially to help do the processing of sales. Yes?
What kind of an audit trail do you have on the back end so that you, I ordered 10 strawberries from you last week and realized they're $10.
Oh.
Expensive strawberries.
Yeah, they were really expensive strawberries.
But I only want one, so I changed it to one.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying, would we be able to see the history of that?
I'm the one who changed it. So
Oh,
I
yes,
can't come
yes.
back to you, the provider, and say, what the heck, I ordered 10. You only
Yeah, that is an excellent point, and I will definitely implement that, probably just like a view history, and you can see who changed what in the order and when it was originally made. That's an excellent point. Thank you.
You could track it by login, couldn't you?
What was that?
If you track it by login, each
Yeah.
user has a login.
Yeah, every user has an account, so it'll say this business made this change, and it'll know if it was the vendor or the customer. And only those two businesses obviously can change it, not some random stranger decides how many strawberries you want. Yes, sir?
Have you talked with other restaurants or shops or whatever that have the similar type of issue, and what are people currently doing to solve this?
Yeah, I've really only talked with the one. I sat down with Michael's kitchen staff, and I really got to know the problem. And I used to work in the kitchen too, so I'm really familiar with that specific problem. I think once it's in its beta testing, I'm going to go out and start talking to some of the local restaurants that he works with and the other local farms that he works with, and see what their solution is and what, because the features that I implemented are really specific to the problems that he has right now. Like at the very least, I know this app is useful to one business, but I would like to make it useful to a lot more. So I do need to do a lot more of case studies here.
I was wondering what other people are using because they're doing something.
Yeah.
It's a combination. But.
Yeah, it's a good question.
So you said that a lot of times businesses will say, just give me what you
Oh
gave
yeah,
me last week.
yeah, I hate that.
So when I give you, I'm now the business supplier.
Yeah.
I give you or want to give you what I gave you last week. How does that get into your system? Because that was a verbal, just give me what you want.
Yeah. Often we have to go dig through the papers. If it was on the phone, we have to go dig through the recycle bin maybe to find out what we wrote down for his last order. Or we have to go search the email for which email they sent it from and which email inbox they sent it from, because we have like 3 different emails that people send orders to. There's a lot of different sources, but it's written down somewhere. But you have to spend a good 5 minutes searching rather than just pull up the history list, scroll down, and there that's exactly what they ordered.
That's what I ordered last time, though. How does that get in as a new order?
Okay, that's a good question. So the business is also able to manually enter orders. So if they don't just email it in, if they just call you up and say, I want what we ordered last time. I also want to implement, like I said, reoccurring orders, standing orders. So you could go through history and say, like, duplicate this order and just change the date, but keep everything else the same. Because that's a very common case. You in the front.
What kind of script are you running, or what's your functionality for searching your emails and whatnot to automatically suck the information over?
Yeah, right now it's not very robust. I just have it, it's looking at an old Gmail account that I had laying around. And it's looking for specifically the email addresses of registered businesses, so that way you're not getting spam email, because it is just some random Google account. But in the future, I want to migrate to Amazon Web Services, to their email server, so that I can do multiple email accounts and custom email accounts and stuff like that. Yes?
Are you looking at integrations with like QuickBooks for invoicing?
Yes, yeah, that's in the far future, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to do before I get to that point. But that would be great if you could enter something on QuickBooks and it would pop up here, or you enter something here and it just pops up on QuickBooks, because otherwise you're kind of entering it twice if you're using QuickBooks too.
And then who marks when the order is complete, and how do we know it's complete?
That's just for the staff. for their purposes. So they can have a device in the warehouse or the kitchen, wherever they're working, and when they have it in the box and it's ready to go, they can press the check mark. And they have one for each individual product in the order, because sometimes 2 of the things are ready and that last one isn't. And they turn bright green, so it's very visually apparent, like, oh, we forgot this one item, because that does happen if you don't have a very visual indicator. Yes, ma'am?
Is it possible for the business to set like a limited quantity of a product?
Yeah, I want to add some settings to the business side, like what quantity of product you can add, what days you can deliver, because I know the Old Windmill Dairy only delivers 2 days a week. We're not going to drive all the way out to Albuquerque any day of the week you'd want. So that's something that the businesses would be able to set limits on. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, everybody. We have, last but not least, we have ABQ Bus, which is also a bus and bus routing app with duration estimates. And to tell you more about that is Sai Krishna.
I'm sorry, 1 second, please. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Hi. My name is Sai Krishna, and we have seen a lot of amazing apps today. I would like to add one more to that. I present you ABQ Bus, which is a real-time bus tracking application. So, how did I get this idea? Basically, I'm a student, I don't have any car, so most probably I'll be traveling through bus. So whenever I get an idea of going in the bus, so the first idea get into my mind is Google Maps. So I will try to type a place and find which bus to take a bus, which bus I have to take, when to take, where to take, and how much time it takes for me to arrive. And we have another application, ABQ Ride, where it shows the live tracking of the bus locations, but it doesn't provide any information that is provided by Google. So then I came up with my application, which is a combination of both Google Maps and ABQ Ride. So what does my application does? It provides real-time bus tracking bus tracking. You can search places, find best routes, and walk. It also provides walking and bicycle directions to the bus stop with travel period, and it also provides live tracking of the buses and updates the delay time for each buses in the route. So this is my application. Can you play? Click on that play. Yeah, just click on it. So I want to go to a place called Villa Apartments. My friend lives there. So I search for the place and then select the appropriate one. And once I select the place, it shows me that place and everything. I can cross-check the place. And it also provides me with walking directions, bicycle directions, and which bus to board. I have to board 16 number bus. And it says that 12 minutes to take 12 minutes it takes for the bus stop, 5 minutes for bicycle, and the bus is at 5:07 and it is running at plus 2 minutes delay. And you can also see on the map that the direction has been, it shows the path for bicycle and walking directions. And it also provides the directions too. And if you can toggle to the bicycle, it provides you the bicycle directions too. And you can also see where exactly the bus is, which bus I will be boarding, rather than seeing all the buses like in the ABQ Ride application or where is my bus application. It shows all the bunch of applications. So this is the second part where the bus is arrived on the stop, and if you see the timing, the bus has to arrive at 5:07. It has been had a delay of plus 3 minutes, and you can see on the top the time is 5:11. So I just want to focus on how much accurately I'm trying to calculate the delay time, so that if you save time, you can save everything. Next. So once you finish the trip, back please. Once you finish the trip, back. Okay. Once you finish the trip, that means the bus has reached the destination stop. We no longer track the buses. We value your mobile data usage, and we no longer use that. We use only when required. Next, please. And what are the highlights? It's very easy to use, and we find perfect bus with approximate delay time, optimizes the mobile data usage. It also handles multiple bus trackings. If you see the picture, to go to the destination, I need to take two buses, number 66 and number 141. And it also shows that 66 has a delay of 2 minutes, and 141 has delay of 8 minutes. And I use only open data sources, that is City of Albuquerque Open Data Repositories and Google Maps and Google Places API. The best part about this application is it is sustainable beyond the contest with zero cost. Next, please. So what I'm planning for future is I want to add user accounts so that users can share the live trip locations to their friends, families, and everyone. And I would like to increase the accessibility. I was fed up with the ABQ Ride bus application. So it shows all the buses, but it doesn't show which bus I have to board. And I have to estimate myself that how much time it might take for the bus. Can I catch this bus? It is near to my location. That's what it confuses us. So I thought of combining these two, Google Maps and ABQ Ride, can give me a hybrid application, which is ABQ Bus, which I've built. So that's how I can save time. My main goal is to save time and focus on the one particular bus rather than bunch of buses showing, and it doesn't give you any sense like which one to see. Yes?
Can you save destinations so that you can easily look up a bus when you're, say, going to school or going to your friend's house rather than having to type in where you're going manually?
Yes, in future I can do that, because at present I'm using Google API, Google Places API, which provides this places. So I have to see how it tracks the history, and then I can implement that. Yes, please.
What about if there's any particular, like machine learning is good to have some additional kind of, maybe historically this bus has been X amount of time late or whatever. Any thoughts on comments from users?
Yes, actually, it is just a small application. When I was thinking, initially I was planning to get the feedback tab or something like that, so that user can give feedback from that, and I can improve what is required. Yes.
So can a user layer the buses? Let's say I decide, okay, I'm going now and the bus is 5 minutes away and I'll get there, but then something happens and I'm delayed. Can I then add another bus that's coming up because I know I'm not going to catch this one?
Actually, at present, present application is you have to again search that location and get that, because we don't know what caused you delay. So I request.
So you have to
reset, and you can close at any point of time. In the user interface, you can see that there is a cross button to close. Any point of time you can close, and you can again search it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
What was the most challenging part of development?
Finding the particular bus, because there are a lot of bunch of buses, and it just showed me the location, and it doesn't show me any additional information. It took me a lot of time and calculating additional resources, and on that basis, trip, there is every bus has a trip. So on that basis of that trip, I was calculating the downloading the data from City Albuquerque. I have done for 4 to 5 days to get the accurate data. I ran it for almost full day. Yes, please.
Any thoughts on adding additional information, like things to do while you're waiting for a bus, restaurants, attractions?
Actually, it's like this bus application. I just want to put like that because like I just want to use for public, like public. They can use for only bus. Taking all other things into consideration, it might lose the main motive of that application. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's give another round of applause for all the 10 teams. Great work. A couple things to note for the judges. First off, you didn't quite get to, I don't know if you quite got to hear it or see it on the papers, but there was a really great diverse array of both native development and cross-platform development, so I thought that was pretty cool, as well as solopreneurs, as well as team software development. So just some things to take into consideration in the diversity of the candidates today. I'm going to ask you to now, for the judges, to exit stage right with Garth, and Garth is going to lead you over to your deliberation room. And we have about 20 minutes or so to figure that out, and then we'll meet back here in this room. Everyone's welcome, friends and family, and we will have an award ceremony. Okay, so one of the things that I want to really encourage the students here to continue doing is coding, right? You keep coding. I know some of you guys are computer science majors, some of you guys are coming from different backgrounds, but whatever you do, keep coding, okay? And get out there. So one of the things that Garth and myself and the rest of the committee who organized this event today thought about for this time around is to really engage the community. And so although they're not here today, I want to give a round of applause for Code for ABQ for helping us out this year. So if we can give them a hand. For those that don't know, Code for ABQ is a local developer group that works on nonprofits and public sector projects as a way of giving back. So think of it like Habitat for Humanity, but for coders. Okay, so not everyone's good with a hammer, but some of us are good with our typing on keyboards. So I really encourage you to get involved. You can go on meetup.com and find all sorts of different technology groups. So I know when I was in school at the University of Texas at Austin, I was very secluded in my little tech bubble, university bubble. So I'm going to really encourage you, especially those that are seniors, to get out there, connect with your fellow developers, join Code for ABQ or Code for Santa Fe if you live up north. And stay involved, because the Albuquerque and the New Mexico tech scene is really, really growing, and we do all sorts of great events, so please stay involved. Actually, tomorrow, if you're interested, there's a WordPress camp up north, so get online and find those events. So keep coding. Second thing, are our judges there? Okay, I see our judges are in the back. Are we all here? All right, let's give a round of applause for our judges. Man, I went in there just for 5 minutes, and as everyone's already told you, it's a close race, and so I'm really curious to see who the results are. But without further ado, I'm going to invite Dwayne Arruti, the CIO of the University of New Mexico, to come up and talk a little bit about sponsors and all the great work you're doing and present the checks. Dwayne.
Awesome. I've got a separate mic here. Oh, is that for the room?
This is for the room.
That's for the room.
Correct? This is for the room?
All right, we get to balance all of these different artifacts up here. This is awesome. All right, well, so as mentioned, my name is Dwayne Arruti. I'm the Chief Information Officer at the University of New Mexico, and I would also like to just give, before we get started here, a big round of applause to all of the contestants that went through this entire process. I think we saw some amazing apps this year. Big round of applause. I'd like to formally thank all of the contestants for participating in what is now our 5th annual Mobile Apps Contest and award ceremony jointly hosted by UNM and CNM. Our winners will be very well rewarded for their months of effort. In just a few moments, we will be awarding a $5,000 first place prize. Yeah. A $2,500 second place prize, a $1,000 third place prize, and we also have a wonderful gift for our honorable mention. Our top 10 apps this year are all very solid, and the judges had quite a challenge choosing the winners. I just left the room, and the deliberations were intense. Our judges definitely had a difficult time this year. We appreciate that our judges could be here all afternoon. I think they got to see some exciting presentations, and I'd like to thank them each individually. First, Nika Allen from the New Mexico Tech Council. Grace Faustino from the UNM Office of the Vice President for Research. Jason Katzoff from Adobe. Marco Mello, UNMIT graduate student employee. John Mirzwa, Ingenuity Software Labs. And Brian Osterloh from the city of Albuquerque. We could not have put on this event without some wonderful sponsors, and I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for continuing their support of this event. First, I would like to thank Verizon Wireless as our official sponsor for the 3rd consecutive year. CNM has been a tremendous partner with us in hosting this event and also provided $2,500 in prize money. Lyra Development and also T-Mobile for providing the Honorable Mention Prize. We always take the opportunity at these events to acknowledge Nusenda Credit Union for being a sponsor of all our IT community events, and we thank them again this year. For the staff who helped to make this happen from UNM, we have Garth Colasurdo, Emily Morelli, Elaine Rising, Alex Rosner, Ola Stromina, and Kim Wasetta. And also from CNM, we have Michael Green, Daniel Heron, and Andrea Cisneros Wichman for all the planning and coordination involved in hosting this event. And now it's time for the winners. Are we ready? All right, we think we're ready. Okay, very, very tough choice. First, for our honorable mention, and when I call your name, please come up on stage. For our honorable mention, Kim Wynn with WordPal. I've got it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, I got to pick up my microphone again. Give me a second, folks. This will be replaced by an actual check. Okay, Kim, where's Kim standing? Kim waving in the background, Kim Wasetta behind you. Kim in the very back row in the front section here. She will actually get details so that you can get your actual cash prize on these. So, $1,000 for 3rd place goes to the app that was labeled as Untitled, the music app, Mauricio Monsiveis. He went the other direction. I think he went to see Kim to get the actual cash prize. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right. More shuffling around. All right, next we have our $2,500 second place prize. And this year the prize goes to Orderly, Abigail Soward. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I get to keep it?
You do.
Oh.
No, you have to give it back.
What?
Just like to remind you all that one of the things that we really do like to promote as an aspect of this contest is women in technology. Women are typically underrepresented in the IT community, and so we'd like to give a special recognition also to Abigail for her performance today. Just round of applause. Okay, and we've decided that instead of actually awarding our winning contestant here today, we will call you back next week and recognize. No, I'm kidding. All right. A piece of cardboard representing $5,000 to our first place team, Albuquerque Transit, Nicholas. All right. Congratulations, Nick.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Well done.
All right, thank you.
All right,
cool.
you get a photo for the camera, please?
All right.
Both of you, fellows.
Wow.
All right.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
You gonna have a pizza?
Yes, Nick has indicated happy hour is on him. All right, again, to all of the contestants in this year's Mobile Apps Contest, we thank you for your participation, the wonderful work that you've done, and for joining us throughout this event. Congratulations to our winners. Congratulations to all of our participants for showing what all the students are capable of doing. Thank you very much.